Hi everyone and welcome back to another dose of reality check video for those of us who are planning to come over to Poland anytime soon. My name is Obi Raphael. It's been a while since I put out a YouTube video because of very specific reasons, and actually I won't want to bore you with these reasons, so I will just be focused on the content of today's video. With that being said, on today's video I want to talk about my financial mistakes and how you can avoid them. Actually, I'm a man of great financial planning. I believe in financial planning and I believe in it as the way to succeed in anything you are doing. But sometimes you can see yourself making certain mistakes which you never thought you would have made. Therefore, I want to actually share these mistakes that I made with you so that in case you're planning to come here anytime soon or planning to travel out to Europe, you can actually gear up and get ready for these mistakes, because these mistakes were made because of certain things that I actually found out about, and then because of certain laxities that I put on during my preparation for coming down to Poland. The truth is that I think I made certain mistakes along the way, but I actually want to just pinpoint four principal mistakes out of these several mistakes that I must have made, and then how you can also avoid these four particular financial mistakes. I would read out these four financial mistakes while I examine each of them, and then with the hope that you are going to understand what you're supposed to do while you try to make your movement down to Poland. My first mistake, which I made, was not actually understanding the Polish zloty, understanding the real value of the Polish zloty as against the Nigerian naira. That was the number one mistake. Number two mistake there was not having a financial plan before I came into the country. Number three mistake is not buying my basic necessities, especially my article of clothing, while I was in Nigeria, and leaving it to be bought while I came down to Poland. Number four is not converting the entire currency which I came into the country with into Polish zloty at the same time. I hope you understand this mistake, but I'm going to explain each of them one by one now. So let's start with number one, not understanding the Polish zloty as against the Nigerian naira. Why I did not actually take time to understand the value of the Polish zloty as against the Nigerian naira was because during one of my researches on one of the best places to live in Europe, I had this statement that Poland is a very cheap place to live in. You understand that it is very cheap, and you can afford. It's something that is quite affordable, not as costly as Britain or maybe Germany or France, something like that. But it was very, very cheap to live in. So I took this mentality that Poland is very cheap to live in, and because of that, I did not actually give serious precaution to the conversion rates of the currency. I actually knew it, but I just took it, for a slide. Now this was because this was the period while which I was going through my programming lessons. So I was focused more on programming at that point than I was focused on my journey to Poland, because I knew it was going to be very, very important for me in my journey here in Poland. So I focused there. I didn't actually go to start comparing bit by bit items in Poland and financial things and those rigorous things I supposed to have done. I didn't do them. So I didn't have that clear understanding very well. And because of that, it cost me a lot. My expenses became very high when I came into Poland, and then why the finance I had was very limited. So I would advise you to have a clear understanding of the Polish zloty, the value of the zloty, and do not be deceived with the statement that the cost of living in Poland is very low. This statement is only true for those who are coming from countries where their currency is actually, a little bit higher, or is actually higher than the Polish zloty. But if you're coming from a country where your currency is lower than the Polish zloty, the cost of living in Poland is not actually very cheap for you, especially within the first month with which you came. The cost of living is actually high. So just bear that in mind, and you would not actually be carried away while you come into the country. Number two on my list is actually not making a financial plan. I did not make a financial plan while I was coming into Poland from Nigeria. I did not sit down to calculate something like how much I would pay for my rent, how many months I would pay for my rent, how many months I would spend the amount of money with which I was coming into the country with. This is actually because of two reasons. Number one, because I did not actually know the exact amount with which I was going to come into the country with. As at the time, I did not have a picture. I was just looking at something like from 500,000 to 1 million. So I did not actually have a clear picture of how much I was going to spend. But even without this, I should have also made this financial planning. And number two, after I was denied from the first time, you understand, I decided to, just slow down on things, take things easy, take things as they come, so I did not actually make any foreplan because I wasn't sure anymore if I was going to make it down to Poland. I was just, I let things go the way they were supposed to go. If I made it on the second appeal, fine. If I didn't make it, I would just continue with my programming and keep on going forward. So because of this mindset, I did not actually make any plan while I was there in Nigeria for my life here in Poland. And it actually affected me in that I came to Poland and things came at me like a rush. Expenses came, bills came. I didn't have a proper scale of preference. Whether I had to go for my for whether I had to look at my wardrobe, whether I had to look at feeding, or whether I had to look at rent, whether I had to pay in advance some amount of months, something like this. These things came to me all at once. And I made also a very terrible mistake, which is actually the fourth mistake. So it's like the fourth mistake is like what actually gave me a bigger problem to handle. My third mistake was actually not buying the basic necessities which I needed in Nigeria. Now, this was also hinged on the fact that I thought that the cost of living in Poland was very cheap. So probably article of clothing and certain things, especially article of clothing, were going to be cheap. Now, remember that I did not do a proper evaluation of the value of the currencies. So I was just thinking that it was going to be cheap. Okay, let me just get this amount of money, and then boom, I am off to Poland. And the time was too short for me to make pressing preparations. So I came to Poland very light. I came very light. I came with few articles of clothing, very few. That was not going to even be able to take you for 1 week. So imagine coming into Poland on that day, and the next day you have to go for shopping. You didn't even have to arrange your money and everything. I had to go for shopping the next day because I came very light. Getting to the shops, I was actually met with a great deal of surprise that a pair of jeans, which would normally cost somewhere between 3,000 to 4,500 naira in Nigeria, was actually costing here in Polish zloty 10,000 or even 15,000 naira. A pair of jeans here is like 150 zloty. And right now, you can say that one Polish zloty is worth about 100 naira. So you see how that goes for. If one Polish zloty worth 100 naira, then you're talking, if 10 zloty is like 10,000 naira. Yeah, like 10,000 naira. Sorry, 100 zloty, not 10 zloty. That was my mistake. Like 100 zloty is like 10,000 naira, and 50 zloty is like 5,000. Just like that. So you see that 15,000 to buy a pair of jeans. In fact, I was struck because at that point I had to spend over 500 zloty to buy just few pairs of clothes. 500 zloty, which you are talking about like 50,000 naira. 50,000 naira, you could buy like at least more in Nigeria. Maybe not if you go to these very expensive shops, but at least quality stuffs. But there will be a little bit enough for you. But I didn't do that. So it actually cost me a lot. It was a very terrible financial mistake. I had to spend over 1,000 zloty buying few clothes, for which I still need to even go to the market very soon to buy more. So if you can buy some article of clothing in Nigeria, the normal thing is just the normal stuff that they wear here also, the normal t-shirts, your pair of jeans, if you can buy, sweaters, this normal sweater, the normal jacket, the normal hoods, you understand? Buy them in Nigeria if you can before you come over to this place. And then it will save you a lot of financial hassle while you come here. And mistake number 4 is not converting every currency I had to zloty while I arrived immediately. So you will be tempted to actually start converting the money you have little by little, bit by bit. Someone will also tell you that, people will also tell you that convert this money little by little, don't use all of them at the same time. Yes, it's actually a very nice idea not to use all your money at one go, but it is not a nice idea not to convert all of them at the same time. Now, what will converting every single thing you have at the same time do? It will give you a clear picture of how much you have. If you came into the country with like 1 million naira, not in naira now, but you have to convert these things to like dollars and maybe euro, when it is converted here, you are sure you are looking at your money and it is 10,000 zloty. So you have a picture of how much you have at large. And then you can make pure estimates on what you want to spend and what you don't want to spend, how much you want to spend for this and how much you don't want to spend for that. I did not do that. I converted this money little by little. So I convert like 2,000 zloty. I convert another 1,000 zloty. You find yourself you have used 500 zloty out of the 2,000. You understand? You don't actually keep track. I did not keep track. Because of how I was converting it little by little, I did not keep track of how much I was earning, or how much I had, sorry. I didn't keep track of how much I had, and this became a problem. I didn't know when I had spent up to 5,000 zloty. So when I finally went to convert my money, looking at it, it was like about 3,000 to 4,000 zloty. And I was like, but I was supposed to have over 10,000 zloty. It was now then that I now started looking at the bigger picture of how much was in my account. So I would actually advise this way. When you come into the country, do not make any financial transaction. Just go and open a bank. Convert every single thing you have in the canton. Go and open a bank account and put all the money inside there. Then you can withdraw, start withdrawing and start taking account of how much you are withdrawing. Know how much you have in bulk. Know how much, if possible, pay for your rent. You understand, like 2 months, a month or two in advance. And I will advise you to don't come with anything less than, if you're coming from Nigeria, for anything that is going to be less than 5,000 zloty in value while you come here. Come with something at least that is going to be like 5,000 and above, if possible 10,000. And then when you come, if you can pay for your rent like 3 months in advance, please do. Pay for it and forget about it. And then start planning your life with the rest you have, before you can be able to get a job and some other stuff. We'll talk about getting a job and what it looks like here, and how that works maybe in another video. But for now, these were my financial mistakes, and I want you to also take them to heart. Do exactly the opposite of everything I have said, and you will find out that you are going to have a smoother run, a better run with your finances in this country. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in another video. Please, if you can, subscribe, like the video if you think it helped you, and then I'll see you in my next video with more content pouring out. Thank you. Peace.